Hello and welcome to another episode of Wheel of Horror, the podcast where two best friends normally spin a wheel once a week and it normally chooses the movie, but today we're doing a special bonus episode. Today we're doing Beetlejuice, which was released in 2024 and was directed by Tim Burton. I'm your co-host Alec, and joining me today is the horror duo Allie Cat.
Woo!
Welcome back, ladies. How we doing?
Thank you. Doing well. Excited to talk about the movie. I'm like itching to talk to you about this, Alec.
Good. And Kat, how are you? You freaking out?
Yeah, so happy we finally got the Beetlejuice 2 movie after being teased for years. And it was actually really good and I really enjoyed it. So happy that we get to talk about it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I want to individually ask you guys because you're probably the two biggest Beetlejuice fans that I know.
Beetle fans.
You're my biggest Beetle fans. But I want to know, very much so what you guys thought of this. But before that, we do have a little bit of a personal story that, is relevant to this movie, the Beetlejuice experience in Hollywood we went to last weekend.
Yes.
So that was a lot of fun. Yeah. What'd you guys think of that?
I loved it. I feel like they pulled out all the stops, like just the photo ops and then the character actors that were walking around and just all the little touches. Like it was like it made my Beetlejuice fan heart so happy.
Yeah. And Kat, you went as Lydia.
I did. That was a lot of fun because obviously I was getting attention from all the scare actors, I suppose. And it was just really funny having different interactions and having an interaction with the Beetle Man himself and him joking around and being like, you don't call, you don't text, you don't DM. And I was dying because then he also scared Allie half to death, which was amazing.
Yeah, I have trouble with the scare actor. It like puts my anxiety into high gear.
Yeah. But I agree with Allie. I loved there was just so much attention to detail everywhere. And I feel like there wasn't a corner that they didn't add just a little thing from the movie or just a little snippet of like an Easter egg for you to look at. And I love that. Like really immerse you into the movie, into the experience. I love that so much.
Yeah, it was so cool. I mean, even going in just in the beginning, you're like waiting in line to go to the afterlife. You get a passport and everything. It is really immersive. I do got to acknowledge though, they had a Fanta Beetlejuice like green apple drink, and it was vile. I don't know what you had it, right?
I smelled it.
I didn't try it because I already knew, I'm such a finicky eater. Like I already knew, like this is not for me. But I did want to buy it for some reason because I just wanted to see like the can with Beetlejuice on it. I just was like, yeah, this is thrilling to me. So I bought it and gave it away. But yeah, I heard it was not delicious, and that's really what I expected. So
Yeah, it's definitely a collector's item, the can, but the actual drink, like I don't know who I wanted to be in the room and they're just like, this is so good. And they're like, this needs to be manufactured and sent to everybody. It was bad. But yeah, that was a really fun thing. So if you ever, I don't know if they're ever gonna do it again, actually, but yeah, actually, why would they ever do it again? That was, I guess, for the movie. And it was cool. It was at the Chinese Grauman's TCL theater. So it was like a really little Hollywood event. It was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun. And we'll probably talk about this, but maybe if we get a third installment, I don't know, maybe they'll do it again.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, as you guys were saying earlier, I mean, we waited what, 35 years for a sequel to this?
Jesus,
Yeah.
really? That long?
Yeah.
And Tim Burton,
Oh god.
Tim Burton kind of said himself, like, well, look at how long it took to make the second one, so I'll probably be dead by the time the third one comes around. And I was like, no.
No.
But I have a feeling that just because of its success, and I think it really blew away all expectations at the box office, and I just feel like you don't make that kind of money and then not seek an additional sequel in the series, and it's just such a missed opportunity if they don't do the third one. So I don't know, that's my opinion on it.
Totally. And now that Tim Burton's kind of had a bit of a falling out with Disney, I could see him being like, Warner Brothers, let's make some money. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
I honestly just like hats off to their marketing team because they were literally everywhere. And I feel like they're still kind of everywhere as far as like they were like on the Fanta cans. They had a thing with like Lush. They had a bunch of like some makeup release with NYX. They had like all these different companies that were doing limited edition Beetlejuice for the movie. It's so funny because I actually like watching like baking competition shows and like cooking competition shows. And so they have this like it's called Halloween Bake Off, and they have one every Halloween season. And they had a special episode dedicated to Beetlejuice. And they're like, oh, you know, they played the trailer. And I was like, you know, sitting watching it with my husband, and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, I can't believe, you know, I'm like, geez, this movie's everywhere. They did a special episode where they had to bake something for Beetlejuice and make all that. And they played the trailer and they're like, the movie comes out, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, hats off to the marketing team. They did an amazing job. They were literally everywhere. And I feel like that's why they did so well in the box office too.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah, it really was everywhere. And it was, as a Beetlejuice fan, like I was just like thrilled to see it absolutely everywhere. I'm like, oh my gosh, look, they have Beetlejuice joggers, they have Beetlejuice hair clips, they have, you know, like I was just like in awe and so excited, like everywhere I went. It was so fun. Even like Crumble Cookie had like a special Beetlejuice cookie. Like it really was everywhere. And it was so cool to see because like, you know, you just the horror, I mean, this is not true horror. It's not like slasher horror, but it's definitely in the genre. And you know, sometimes it feels like that's sort of like an underground kind of scene, like the horror community. And then to see it just up front and center and everybody just like going crazy over it. I just love it. I'm like, these are my people. They're all here, you know?
Yeah, you know, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it really did kind of take over September and into October. And I mean, hey, you know, we're talking about it now and it's going to be on DVD, not DVD, Jesus, Blu-ray and streaming. So I'm old. I'm so it'll be on videotape soon.
Yes. VHS.
Yeah, no, but yeah, so it'll, you know, it'll get like another little bump, I think, when that comes out. And then who knows when Wednesday season 2 comes out, people are gonna, I feel like this movie has longevity.
Agreed.
It does.
All right, but let's talk about it a little bit. So you two, yeah, I mean, you're the biggest fans I know. So let's go one by one. I mean, what do you think? You know, who wants to go first?
I'll let Allie because she has the tattoo. So Allie can go first.
Yes, I should mention what the tattoo is. So I have a tattoo on my foot that says "Strange and Unusual" that I got when I moved from LA, and it was really just like a love letter to all the amazing things I got to do while in LA that were related to the horror community and Beetlejuice specifically. So it's definitely something near and dear to my heart. And so many highlights in this movie. Just the nostalgia factor was incredible. Like, I just seeing Lydia's red wedding dress come back and just things in the set, the waiting room, the music, like the nostalgia factor was there. Like they just hit a home run with that piece of it. And I honestly, from the beginning, like when Danny DeVito made the cameo, I was dying. I was so psyched on Danny DeVito. Like, I just love him. And this is a side note, but I do have a fanny pack that has Danny DeVito's face on it. And there's like a tuft of hair on either side. And it's called a Fanny DeVito. So I just want to put that out there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, some things that I noted that I just loved was like Baby Beetlejuice. Like, I feel like that when Baby Beetlejuice came out, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, it just thrilled me. Delia, like Catherine O'Hara, just hitting it out of the park as usual. But this time it was like, it was Delia Deese. It was her. She really encompassed the character, but in a brand new era. And it just like, she killed me. Like just the line when she sees Charles and she's like, Charles, look what happened to me. Yeah. And he's got like his fucking head bit off. And she's like, look what happened to me. Like, I was just like, yes, she killed it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the Bobs I thought were amazing. I loved this like older version of Lydia that we got to see. And the couples therapy cracked me up. I thought that was amazing. Like there were a couple of little misses, like for me here and there, like the left the cake out in the rain. That scene, I loved the scene, but I felt like it went on too long. And Alec, I feel like you'll agree with me on this one because you saw it like 300 times. But I felt like it was a hair too long, and I was like, we could have gotten the point in like a shorter duration.
Right.
And then I'm one of the ones who definitely miss the Maitlands. Like I don't disagree that their story is told, but then, we sort of get this new snippet of their story, which is that they found this loophole and they were able to move on. And that piqued my interest. I want to know more about that. And so leaving them out was sort of sad for me. And then the last thing that I know a lot of people have talked about is like, having all of these new characters introduced. And I think it was definitely necessary. You lost a lot of the characters that were in the first film. So I totally understand introducing these new characters. And obviously we lost them in the movie through the duration of the movie. But like the Wolf Jackson and Dolores, I thought they were fun, but, not necessary to the plot.
Right.
Unless, of course, they're looking to carry this storyline into the third film. And then it really makes sense to introduce all of these characters into the second one. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it. And the last thing that I really, really loved was just this relationship with Delia and Lydia, where I just felt like from the first movie to the second, it's like all of that life experience that Lydia got just, gave her this appreciation for Delia. And Delia just being able to kind of like roll her eyes and go, oh God, here we go again with Lydia, and kind of giving her advice to their own daughter, I thought was just so heartwarming. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts.
Damn, that was great. That was like it was like a book report, like very well thought out. You're like, here are my pros, here's like, my middle-ish part, and then my cons, but very constructive criticism on the cons. No, that was great. Yeah, that was amazing. Well, Kat, what do you got? What do you think?
I also really enjoyed it. Me and Allie saw it together for the first time in Chicago for her birthday party. And I, right off the bat, was like, I love that they made Lydia like clairvoyant, and that like that was her thing, that like that's why she saw the Maitlands, that she actually can see ghosts. And that was like one of the things that was like, oh, and then her relationship with Jenna Ortega and her daughter, like I really was like curious and excited to see how they were going to make their relationship and what type of relationship they were going to have. And it was like everybody's big question was like, oh my God, who is her dad? Is it Justin Trudeau? Like, what's the situation there? And I just really liked how that played out, and how, her dad ended up being a civil servant in the afterlife, and like how that played out, and just all the, I guess, like character development in that sense that it gave Lydia being a mother, and like all the struggles she had to go through with Jenna Ortega as Astrid, and then her finding out she can see ghosts because she kind of fell in love with a ghost. And that was like something else that I was like, and like I called it from the beginning. I was like, his clothes didn't change, he's a ghost.
Did. She really did. She was whispering to me in the theater like, he's a ghost, and I was like, oh shit, that wasn't even on my radar.
Me neither.
I was like, he's a ghost, he's wearing the same clothes. And I was like, why can't we see his parents? But I feel like everything that, I don't know, I just love the movie as a whole, and I feel like every character was necessary, because I feel like if they took one thing out, it wouldn't have influenced the character's decision for them to do that. Like, I know a lot of people say that they're like, oh, like we could have done without that like ghost boy and the love interest for Jenna Ortega, but I'm like, no, because I feel like how would they have gone to the afterlife if it hadn't been to save her because she ended up falling for this terrible ghost boy? Or with Dolores, it's like, how would Beetlejuice be on the run and hiding if it wasn't for his ex-wife that is a soul sucker, And so I feel like that was also like an analogy, like that she was a soul sucker ghost that literally sucks your soul, but she was also like this agonizing, soul crushing, like wife to Beetlejuice. And he was like, oh God. And the fact that like they killed each other was amazing too. It's like he cut her in half right before he was dying from being poisoned. I thought was great. And I loved Willem Dafoe because I feel like he's kind of becoming one of Tim Burton's actors that he uses in all his movies. And I feel like he just fits perfectly in Tim Burton's world. And yeah, I just really love the movie. I thought it was so fun. And I will say my piece about the Maitlands too, that I miss them, but I see that their story was over. And I feel like there's a lot of controversy with that because, a lot of people did want to see them again. And I love that there was that loophole and they crossed over. And I feel a lot of people were saying, oh, they would never leave Lydia, X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, but she grew up, they did their part. They raised her to be this great person, and she got married and she had a kid. And I feel like they felt like their job was done. So they
Mhm.
crossed over. But I feel like that's segueing to Beetlejuice, 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 which if they don't do that, lost opportunity.
Right,
Beetlejuice
Mhm.
3, say his name 3 times. And I really hope we get to see that they like give us a little bit more insight with what happened with the Maitlands and, just all that fun. But yeah, all in all, I love the movie. I loved how fun it was, how upbeat, how like with all the music and the dancing.
The Soul Train.
The Soul Train, the Bee Gees song for Dolores,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's just so iconic. We got more iconic characters, which I love, because I feel like for Halloween this year, like you had so many more characters to choose from to dress up as. So I love
Oh
that.
yeah.
Yeah, true. I'm wondering, I don't know if I had mentioned this to you when we saw the movie Cat or not, but Jeremy, who is Astrid's love interest, reminded me of Alec. Do you see this at all? I don't know. I
Which
don't know.
character is this? Wait, not Justin Theroux, is it?
No, heck
Oh,
no.
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 okay. I was like, oh,
It's the kid in like the red and black plaid. So
oh,
Astrid's love interest. Yeah, for some reason, and I feel like maybe it was the way he talked. It was like his voice or something that I was like, I don't know. It's giving Alec for me. I don't know why.
hey, I'll take it.
The curly hair too, I feel like, and he's like kind of
Maybe.
tall and slender. But no, I feel like it's the voice. They have a very similar voice, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
God, he's British.
Oh.
Speaking in a fake American accent.
Oh.
No, hey, listen, I'll take it. I'll take it.
No.
But Kat, I love your breakdown, and I feel like your breakdown is exactly what Tim Burton wants to hear. Because like anything that anybody complained about, you basically just justified it, and you're like, but no, but that makes sense to me. And so like it's coming from a huge fan like you and liking all of the decisions, I think he would be like, thank you. Thank you, Kat.
Yes, I appreciate his artistic thought on this. I really feel like he was like, I haven't given the fans something in 35 years. I'm gonna give them everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good
Well, and
point.
he did just, I love that, Michael Keaton and Tim Burton were talking a lot about how they wanted to go back to practical effects. And it's crazy. Like you can feel that in the movie. Like you can truly feel that they did everything. They went back to basics and like even like seeing the behind the scenes with the guts in the couples therapy office and
Mm.
stuff. Like that's part of what makes it so thrilling is that like there's real people in the bob costumes and it's not all digital and CGI and like that that's part of the magic that made the original so much fun.
Yeah, I think Tim Burton's kind of learned his lesson over the years where like his movie everybody's like they're so great and then they just Alice in Wonderland, Dumbo, it's just all CGI and people are just like, "Come on, man." And
Yeah,
I'm glad he returned to it.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah, no, I like this movie a lot too, and I just want to kind of give a little bit of a clarification for my experience with it. So I didn't see it in theaters. I actually ended up watching it at my job, and I had to do quality control for it. I'm not kidding. I probably watched this movie about 9 times in like 4 days. So I still like it. And the thing is, like, I've had to do stuff similar to this in my job to watch a movie on repeat over and over again. But this was a great movie. Like, I had to do it for Roadhouse, and it was miserable, the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
Mm.
But this movie was fun. It was like every scene had something different going on. So, like, the rewatch value of this movie is great. So I gotta give it that. Love that the cast returned. Yeah, I thought the music was great. Everything you guys said basically already. I mean, I think my one thing is that I like is a lot of these movies where they take a huge gap in between, like Tron or Blade Runner. This one felt more like those, like a good version. I didn't love Hocus Pocus 2. I felt like this actually was better for fans, but also like for there actually being longevity. Like they didn't introduce characters that didn't make sense, I guess, to the Beetlejuice movies. I don't know. I guess, yeah, you guys really covered everything, so.
Well, I know that it was like a lot to watch it so many times in a row, but I am thrilled that you did because we got an amazing video of Alec lip syncing MacArthur Park out of that. And that's worth it for me, just for me.
Yeah, I was losing my mind. I love that song, but yeah, you're right, Allie. Like they took like a break. I mean, that is in the song. There is like this like disco interlude almost, but I feel like they could have cut that, and then I don't know. We got it the first part.
Yes.
But they brought Deo back, and I loved that rendition. I immediately downloaded that. The choir singing it, I loved that. Okay, I do have one question for you guys though.
Yes.
So I thought it would be really interesting if they covered Lydia's dad, because the guy in the first one is her stepdad, right?
Wait,
No?
no, that's her real dad. So it would be Lydia's mom that you're looking to find out about.
Oh, that's it. Okay. So yeah, I was like, maybe it'd be kind of cool if we found out a little bit about her in this one, but you know, we didn't need that.
I feel like we kind of did a little bit because she, between the banter of her and Delia, she mentions like her mom, and she's like, Delia, my mom's still alive. And she's like, oh, something like that.
Yeah, I would be really interested actually because the clairvoyance, like, where is that coming from, right? So we already know she's passed it down to Astrid, so it was obviously passed down to her potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that would be a really interesting storyline.
Okay, maybe Beetlejuice. Maybe we'll get it
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
Oh, you said his name 3 times, Alec.
Oh no, he's gonna pop out.
I hope so.
I know. Yeah, I gotta say though, right from the start, I loved the intro music. Like it was a little bit different, but it had that Donna Summers version of MacArthur Park. I love that right from the start. The music just totally brings you back in, and it's got that overview shot. And was that a real town this time, or was that the fake one again?
It's the same one as last time. Yeah, which I think is filmed in Vermont.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was like so much 70s inspired music that was like, it just had this amazing energy to it. And then, of course, like the Right Here Waiting for You, the acoustic version sung by Beetlejuice I was like, this
Oh
is
my God.
amazing. So just all kinds of like, vintage, like funny sort of like, but entertaining vintage music that was like placed perfectly in the film. It's just so good.
Yeah, Tragedy was so good, Kat. You were mentioning that BG song, and I thought it was amazing. And her coming back to life was such a cool scene. I felt like Tim Burton was just like, that's my girlfriend. That's my girlfriend.
It was. And I think like it was, I can't remember who had said it, but I read somewhere that they specifically did the finger, like her finger was severed. And so you see her putting her finger back on. And apparently that's supposed to be a callback from the original when he takes the ring off of the severed finger to give it to Lydia. And I was like, wow, what a cool detail.
Yes, I did hear that too. That is so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
The dad, though, interesting that they brought him back so much. Like I get the funeral, that was like the catalyst, but like they haven't like he doesn't look good in anything. But why do you think they brought him back for like so much?
I think like it's just hard to lose such a like critical character. And if you watch the first movie, he's pretty critical to the storyline.
Yeah.
And I think like it was just a matter of it was circumstances when something like that happens. It's like the circumstances are beyond their control. And so I think they just kind of like make the best of it, and they just have this advantage of like being able to bring the dead to life. And it's like, might as well, and the way they did it, like with oh my God, the shark bite, it was killing me. The blood's like squirting upwards, and yeah, it was so good. But yeah, I was surprised as well. I know Kat was too. And then they did that little like claymation of his death and everything. Yeah, I definitely found it surprising that they, had him so involved. But yeah, I think they did it in a really funny and entertaining way for sure.
No, they definitely did. But what was it like in theaters when they saw the shark killing, and were people just like freaking out?
Oh, it was like everybody was cracking up. It was just so funny, especially when he's like talking and the blood squirts. And I remember the scene where Delia is like, Charles, like, what about me? And the blood squirts all over her. And it's just the greatest. That was something I was sad about. I wish Delia didn't have to die, but I suppose that's fine because she's so funny and iconic. And and then when Astrid tells her, "Oh, they were venomous, weren't they?"
Yeah, she
Yeah.
already knew. I agree. I think like Delia dying was a sad moment for me too. And I kind of thought like, oh, maybe this won't actually happen. And then the movie ends and it's like, no, she died. She's dead. Yeah, that was really sad because I just love her. But again, I mean, look how they used Charles, and Charles was super dead. And it's like, you know, he had so many scenes. So
Yeah, she'll be back.
yeah.
She had my favorite line in the movie though, when Jenna Ortega's just like, "Your art value is gonna go up a lot because you're dead," and she's like, "Oh, really? Oh, well, they're great." Like that delivery was so good. Or the
Oh.
microbrew, like, "Oh, you gotta try our microbrew." It's like, is that beer for like little people or like people that live in little houses or something like that? It
Yeah,
was
her
great.
dialogue was so good. They did such a great job of like bringing her essence into the present. Like, of
Yeah.
course, she would have like a live, like, graffiti art presentation and
Yeah.
like her own art studio. And like, you know, of course, she's doing a piece on grief after her husband dies. And like, of course, like it was all so quintessentially Delia. Like, I think they did such a great job at that. And even Lydia, too. Sometimes it's hard when you have a character who's like significantly younger, like 30 years have passed, like what are they like now? And I think they did a really great job with, you know, both Delia and Lydia of capturing like what they're like in present day, but you still feel the essence of who they were in the first film.
Yeah. I feel like that was such a hard critique subject as well that a lot of people were criticizing Winona Ryder and how she portrayed Lydia this time around. But I feel like that is exactly how she would act. Like, how would you feel getting tormented by a demon at such a impressionable age of 15? And I feel like people forget because they're like, oh, she was just like such a strong like individual and so like persevering and I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Because that's
Yeah.
not at all how Lydia was in Beetlejuice. She was scared. She wanted to like die and be with the Maitlands. She was like very like insecure and felt misunderstood and like her parents were ignoring her. And you know, that's the whole reason a lot of the things happened in the first Beetlejuice is that she felt loved by the Maitlands and wanted to be with them. And you know, then she started doing better in school and you know, I feel like she even started dressing in a way that's more like lighter and, you know, less
Mhm.
veils, just all in black.
Yeah.
And so and I feel like a lot of people forgot that she was, you know, never, she was always, because they were criticizing that she was like scared at an older age. And I'm like, well, I got that she was traumatized from dealing with Beetlejuice. And that's what it was. You know, there's a scene where she's taking like medications to
Mm.
like turn off the ghost. And like imagine being clairvoyant for so many years and seeing ghosts everywhere and having to deal with them because there's a scene of her talking to the ghost from the show I guess next to hers that like actually got hit in the head with
Oh yeah.
the knife.
Yeah.
And so at first I was like, oh, like I thought at first she was just talking to someone in the restroom, but then you see the knife and you're like, oh, she's dead. And then she disappears as soon as Justin Trudeau walks into the bathroom. So it's like, oh, that was a ghost. So I feel like anyone going through that would be traumatized. And I feel like she played it really well. Like she's trying to be strong for her daughter, but you know, she lost her husband. She was going through it. And I feel like she portrayed that and she still went to look for her daughter in the afterlife. So I really did love their character development of like from being 15 to being a mother now and you know.
Mm. I totally agree. I had no problem with Lydia's character, and I did hear that criticism too. And it's like she seems like well adjusted. Like she's basically turned like, you know, something that happened in her past into a bit of a positive. Like she's trying her best. And yeah, I think Justin Thoreau coming in and just like manipulating her and all that and using her like because she is clairvoyant. She's a legend, as the people say in her hometown. So they know about
Mm-hmm.
her. But I liked her character. I thought both of the two returning characters and Beetlejuice were just fantastic. I missed Ortho though. Gotta say, it sucks he's gone.
Oh, yes, for sure. And funny enough, like I feel like we haven't mentioned Michael Keaton.
I know. Yeah.
But I do want to say he was just like fucking incredible. I mean,
Yeah.
just like it's like he put on the suit and he was just like back. I mean, he was just amazing, and his interactions with the Bobs were so funny, and he was just so good, so just like enthusiastic and energetic, and just like yeah, he really just made it happen, and it made it look so easy.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah, like he said, the juice is loose, 100%.
Yes.
I know. And they got one F-bomb in there, just like the first one.
The censored one.
Yeah, they bleeped it.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Wait,
It was amazing.
when he says, when he's like, he kills the kid, the young boy or whatever, he like stamps his passport and he's just like, see you later, fucker, or something like that, right?
Oh, I thought it was remember when he says like what the fuck, and then the fuck is
Yeah.
bleeps.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe I saw like an unedited version. I don't know.
Oh.
Well, the next time you see it, when he stamps the passport and kills that kid and he goes into the fiery pit, I think he says fuck. I don't know. We'll find out.
Oh. Okay. Look into it.
Yeah.
I do want to mention also, I don't think we've done it, but the Lydia's moose breathing took me out. I was dying.
Yes.
Where she's just like breathing heavily, and Dealey was like,
So
"Oh,
good.
I thought a moose was dying. I thought I was being attacked by a moose." And then she does it again, and it just took me out. Oh my god, I was dying. I was like crying during that scene.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, I want to ask you guys, because this is something that's new to the series. We learn a little bit about Beetlejuice's past in this one, who he was married to. And I'm such an idiot. Is he from Spain or Italy?
Ooh, I don't remember.
I think it was Spain because it was bull riding, right? Or I mean, it was a bull. He had I don't know.
I
thought
think it was Italy.
Okay.
I feel like he said like Sicily.
And we get to find out, a little bit more about him. Like he died in the 1300s, I think. Like that, I don't know. I kind of thought that was interesting. What do you guys think about Beetlejuice's backstory?
I liked it. I thought it was funny. I like how they did it in the black and white montage, and it was so weird to see Beetlejuice without like the makeup and the suit, but interesting and different and unexpected, So I liked it.
Yeah. Kat, I mean, did you like it more, or would it have been better if it was like still in the mystery a little bit about him?
No, I loved it because I feel like as like a longtime fan, like we needed that. Like, where the heck did this crazy demon come from? Like how did he get to where he is? And like I feel like that was a little peek into like the person that he was. Like he was always this kind of like silly, a little bit I don't want to say malicious, but like kind of like I don't know, defiant, I guess.
Yeah.
He just always, he was a grave robber. So that's how he met his witch soul sucking wife. And it was just so him, but it was a little bit off putting. Like I was like, oh, Michael Keaton. Because I feel like when he puts on Beetlejuice, you kind of forget a little bit that it's Michael Keaton. But then when it was him before he died, then I was like, oh yeah, that's Michael Keaton.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he immerses himself so much in the character, he totally separates it from the actor. But I want to ask you guys your last minute thoughts. So what do you have on Beetlejuice? Last minute thoughts.
I loved the sequel. They did an amazing job, and fingers are crossed for the third film for sure.
How about you, Kat?
Agreed. I loved it. I think it was so amazing what Tim Burton did this time around, and that he used practical effects, and we just got a little more peek into these characters that are so beloved, like new stories. And I also am crossing my fingers, hoping we get Beetlejuice, the third one, and see what else they're going to get themselves into.
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. Yeah, I love this great legacy sequel. I hope they continue it, and we'll see what happens. But oh yeah, Jenna Ortega too. She did a good job. I'm eager to see how her character grows. We didn't even talk about her, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, yeah, they got to bring back all the classic actors while they're still here, and bring Jenna along for the ride.
Yes.
But guys, thank you so much. It's always great to have you guys on. I'd love to have you on, any other time. If you ever there's a horror movie that comes out and you like it, just text me and be like, Alec, Friday night, let's do it. Just let me know. I'd love to have you guys on.
Might take you up on that, Alec. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everybody very much for listening into our bonus episode on Beetlejuice, and we'll see you on Monday with something.